Have you ever heard of people say life is all about balance or everything should be in moderation? It reminded me of Aristotle's idea of golden mean, where virtue lies between two extremes. It's a beautiful philosophy, and I understand why it has inspired people for centuries. But recently, I found myself wondering, is the mean really enough? As someone who works in science, I spend a lot of time looking at data, and one thing statistics teaches us very early is that the mean is never the whole story. Imagine I tell you two people have an average happiness score of 5 out of 10. They have the same mean, but are they living the same life? Not necessarily. One person may experience a steady 5 every single day, another may alternate between 0 and 10. The arithmetic mean is identical, but the variance and standard deviation are completely different. One life is stable and the other one is turbulent. Now, suppose most of you experiences are joyful, but a few painful moments pull the average down. Your distribution becomes left skewed. Another person's life may be dominated by hardship with only occasional moments of happiness, creating an entirely different shape. So the mean alone cannot reveal that. Even the median and mode tell different stories. The median represents the middle experience, the point where half your days are better and the half are worse. The mode tells you what kind of day occurs most often. Suddenly, one life is no longer summarized by a single number, but an entire statistical profile. Then biology teaches us exactly the same lesson. When researchers analyzed RNA sequencing data, they first assumed that gene expression follows a Poisson distribution, where the variance equals the mean. But real cells, they refuse to obey that assumption. Biological systems are far more variable. Different cells express different genes differently. Transcription occurs in bursts, environmental signals change expression, and technical noise adds another layer of complexity. And this phenomena is called overdispersion. To model that reality, modern RNA-seq methods such as DSeq2 and EGAR, they use the negative binomial distribution because it separates the mean from the variance. In biology, the validity is not merely noise, it often contains the biological signal itself. And then I realized something even more fascinating, that every gene, literally every gene, has its own baseline expression. Some genes are naturally expressed only a handful of times in a cell, others are expressed thousands of times. No biologist would compare every gene to the same average because each gene performs a different function. Maybe people are the same, but my baseline cannot be your baseline. My distribution cannot be your distribution. My variance cannot be your variance, and my outliers cannot be your outliers. So, for one person, smoking 10 cigarettes a day may represent a destructive extreme. For another, the greatest achievement is resisting the temptation to smoke the very first cigarette. If we compare them using only the same numerical standard, we ignore their history, their environment, and their starting point. Statistically, it is like comparing two completely different populations without accounting for their underlying distributions. Perhaps the only fair comparison is longitudinal, comparing today's data with yesterday's rather than comparing yourself with someone else. Then another thought struck me. People often expect transformation overnight. We want to jump from one extreme directly to another, from failure to success, addiction to discipline, despair to peace. But science rarely works through sudden leaps. Evolution proceeds through accumulated mutations. Gradient descent improves a model one optimization step at a time. Protein folds to intermediate states before reaching their native structure. Recovery after illness occurs gradually as cells repair and regenerate. Even in statistics, one new observation rarely changes the entire dataset. But as more data points accumulate, the estimated mean shifts, the variance changes, the confidence in the trend increases, and eventually the distribution itself begins to tell a different story. Perhaps that's how personal growth works. You don't have to go from 10 to 0 today. Maybe today's victory is moving from 10 to 9, tomorrow from 9 to 8. Every decision becomes another observation in the dataset of your life. You cannot delete yesterday's data points, but you can keep adding new ones until the trend changes. And then I thought about what the Quran says. Allah never promises a perfectly balanced life. Instead, He says, and we will surely test you with something of fear and hunger and a loss of wealth, lives, and fruits. But we give good tidings to the patient. Surah Al-Baqarah. And He gives hope in Surah Al-Nashrah. Indeed, with hardship comes ease. Indeed, with hardship comes ease. Perhaps that is the wisdom. Life was never meant to be understood by a single average. It is a living distribution, shaped by its variance, its outliers, its skewness, and every new data point we add through our choices. So perhaps Aristotle was teaching us about the balance of character, and statistics teaches us not to mistake the mean for the whole truth. Biology teaches us that variability carries information, and the Quran teaches us how to walk through every point of that distribution with patience in hardship, gratitude in ease, and hope for what is yet to come. Because when I look at life now, I no longer see a single average. I see an evolving distribution.